This is the very essence of the message. We are often caught in a whirlwind of small reactive movements, a constant stream of compromises and half-hearted efforts. We try to please everyone, to be everything to everyone, and in doing so we become nothing. We dilute our energy, our focus, and our very essence until our presence becomes a whisper in a world of shouts. The first keynote is a direct challenge to this pattern. It speaks to the profound impact of a single well-considered and decisive action. This is not about a grand gesture, it is about a moment of radical self-honesty, a choice that aligns with your deepest values and in that single instant redefines you. The world sees you based on the energy you radiate. What you do and how you do it speaks volumes louder than any words you could ever utter. When you take a deliberate action, an action that is not driven by fear, not by a need for approval, but by an inner conviction, you are telling the world who you are without having to say a word. This could be anything from walking away from a conversation that no longer serves you, to dedicating 1 hour every day to a project you truly believe in, or even simply choosing to be silent when everyone else is speaking. The action itself is less important than the intention behind it. It is the clarity, the discipline, and the quiet resolve that radiates outward. People are not just observing your behavior, they are feeling your presence, your newfound solidity. They sense that you are no longer a leaf in the wind but a tree with roots that run deep. This single act is a seed. Once planted with conscious intent, it will grow into a forest of respect, not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. It is a one-time decision to stop compromising your truth, and the ripple effect of that decision will forever alter the way others perceive you. They will see you as a person of substance, a person of principle, because you have shown them, through your actions, that you are one. This is the first step on the path to becoming truly unforgettable. The impact of a single, deliberate action is not a matter of luck or chance. It is a direct consequence of a shift in your internal state. When you make a choice that is fully aligned with your core values, you are essentially reorganizing your entire being. All the conflicting energies, the self-doubts, the fears of what others might think, they all fall into alignment. This creates a powerful magnetic presence that is impossible to ignore. Think of a martial artist, a master of their craft. It is not their flashy moves that command respect. It is the quiet, centered energy that underpins every movement. Every step, every breath, every glance is a deliberate action, born from years of disciplined practice. When you make a decisive move in your own life, you are demonstrating that same level of mastery. You are showing that you are in control, not of the external world, but of your internal landscape. This is a rare quality in our modern world, where most people are driven by external forces. When you are the one driving, the one making the conscious choice, people feel it. They see a person who is not afraid to stand alone, a person who is not dependent on the approval of others for their sense of self-worth. This is not about being arrogant or dismissive, it is about being anchored. It is about being so secure in your own skin that you do not need to constantly seek external validation. This is the one act that changes everything. It is the moment you choose to stop being a reflection of others' expectations and start becoming the author of your own story. Once you make this choice, once you take that deliberate action, the world will never see you as a supporting character again. You will be seen as a protagonist, a force of nature, a person to be reckoned with, and it all begins with one simple, powerful act of self-truth. In a world that constantly demands our attention, where noise is the default and silence is seen as an absence of something, the discipline of silence is a revolutionary act. We are taught from a young age that we must speak to be heard, to explain ourselves, to justify our existence. We fill every pause with words, every silence with sound, in a desperate attempt to prove our worth. But what if the greatest power lies not in what we say, but in what we choose not to say? This keynote is an exploration of that profound idea. It is an argument for the transformative power of stillness, for the quiet strength that emerges when we learn to sit in silence, to listen more than we speak, and to let our actions, not our words, be our voice. Silence is not an empty space. It is a fertile ground for growth. It is where true wisdom is born. When we are constantly speaking, we are simply recycling our own thoughts, our own biases, our own fears. But when we are silent, we create space to listen. We listen to the world around us, and more importantly, we listen to the quiet voice within us. This internal listening is the key to clarity, to purpose, and to the kind of self-awareness that commands respect. When you cultivate the discipline of silence, you are essentially training your mind to be still. You are learning to observe your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. This is a form of inner mastery that is visible to the world, even if they don't consciously understand it. They will see a person who is not easily rattled, a person who is calm under pressure, a person who chooses their words with intention. When you do finally speak, your words will carry weight, because they are not just a reaction, they are a response, a conscious choice born from a place of deep stillness. The power of stillness is that it forces you to become the master of your own energy. It teaches you that you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Your worth is not up for debate, it simply is. When you embody this truth, when you radiate this quiet confidence, people will stop seeing you as a person who needs to be heard and start seeing you as a person who is worth listening to. The discipline of silence extends beyond simply not speaking. It is a practice of non-reaction. In our fast-paced, emotionally charged society, we are conditioned to react instantly to everything. A rude comment, a slight, a challenge, our immediate impulse is to defend, to explain, to fight back. But when you have cultivated stillness, you can choose to respond instead of react. This is a profound shift that people will notice immediately. The ability to remain calm and centered in the face of chaos is a superpower. It shows an incredible amount of self-control and inner strength. It communicates that you are not a puppet of your emotions, but rather the master of them. When you are no longer swayed by the opinions or actions of others, you become an immovable object in a world of constant motion. This is the kind of presence that demands respect without ever having to ask for it. It is the kind of presence that makes people pause, that makes them reconsider their own behavior. The discipline of silence is not a passive act of withdrawal, it is an active practice of presence. It is a choice to be fully present in the moment, to listen deeply, and to act from a place of clarity, not from a place of fear or ego. This one discipline, more than any other, has the power to transform how you are perceived. When you are no longer defined by the noise of the world, you become a source of peace, a source of wisdom, and a person who will never be seen the same way again. You become a beacon of calm in a storm, and that is a truly unforgettable quality. The most profound transformations are not about changing what we do, but about aligning who we are. Our external world is a direct reflection of our internal state. The way people see us, the respect we command, the opportunities that come our way, all of it is a consequence of the energy we radiate. And that energy is, at its core, a reflection of our integrity. This keynote delves into the transformative power of aligning our thoughts, our words, and our actions. It is a call to become a person of one, a person whose inner and outer worlds are in perfect harmony. This is the single most powerful act of self-mastery, a practice that will not only change how others see you, but will fundamentally change how you see yourself. The vast majority of people live a life of internal conflict. They think one thing, say another, and do a third. They are constantly at war with themselves, and this internal dissonance is felt by everyone they encounter. When you say you will do something but don't, when you think one thing but say another, you are not only breaking a promise to the other person, you are breaking a promise to yourself. Each time this happens, you chip away at your own self-respect and your own sense of integrity. The world feels this lack of alignment. They see a person who is not solid, who cannot be trusted, not because they are malicious, but because they are inconsistent. This is not a judgment, it is a simple observation of energy. When you begin the practice of aligning your thoughts, words, and actions, you are essentially building a new foundation for your life. You are deciding that what you think, what you say, and what you do will all be in perfect harmony. This is not easy. It requires a great deal of self-awareness, discipline, and courage. It means being honest with yourself about your intentions. It means saying no to things that do not align with your truth. It means following through on your commitments, even when it is difficult. But the reward is immeasurable. When you begin to live a life of integrity, you become a person of unshakable character. Your presence becomes solid, trustworthy, and magnetic. People are drawn to you because they feel your authenticity. They know that when you say something, you mean it. They know that when you commit to something, you will follow through. This creates a deep level of respect that cannot be faked or manufactured. It is earned through consistent, deliberate practice. The alignment of thought, word, and action is the ultimate form of self-respect. When you respect yourself enough to live a life of integrity, the world has no choice but to respect you back. This is not about being perfect. It is about being honest. It is about acknowledging when you fall short and then making a conscious choice to realign. It is a constant practice, a daily commitment to being true to yourself. Once you begin this practice, once you start living a life where your inner and outer worlds are in harmony, people will stop seeing you as a collection of different masks and start seeing you as a whole, complete and authentic person. They will see you as a person of substance, a person with a strong moral compass, and a person who above all is true to themselves. And in that moment they will never see you the same way again. We live in a culture that teaches us to hold on. We are told to cling to our opinions, to our identities, to our possessions, to our past. We are taught to fight for what we believe is ours and to defend our ego at all costs. But what if the path to true power and respect lies in the opposite direction? What if the key to being seen differently is the art of letting go? This keynote is a deep dive into the liberating practice of detachment, not detachment from the world but from the things that bind us, the need for approval, the fear of failure, the weight of the past, and the illusion of control. True freedom is not about having everything you want, it is about being okay with what is. It is about releasing the need to control every outcome, every situation, and every person's opinion of you. This is the practice of detachment. It is not about becoming cold or uncaring. It is about becoming unshakable. When you let go of the need for approval, you are no longer a slave to the opinions of others. You are free to act from a place of truth, not from a place of fear. This is an incredibly powerful position to be in. People can sense when you are not dependent on their validation, and this creates a profound shift in how they interact with you. They will stop seeing you as a person to be manipulated or controlled and start seeing you as a person to be respected. They will see that your worth is not something they can give or take away. It is an internal state that is completely independent of their judgment. The art of letting go also applies to our past. Many of us are burdened by the weight of our past mistakes, our past failures, and our past identities. We carry these burdens with us, and they weigh us down, preventing us from moving forward. When you practice the art of letting go, you are making a conscious decision to release the past and to live fully in the present moment. This is a difficult but essential practice. It requires forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. When you let go of the past, you are no longer defined by it. You are free to create a new future, a new identity, one that is not shackled by old stories and old fears. People will notice this lightness in your being. They will see a person who is not bogged down by regret, but who is instead filled with a quiet sense of peace and possibility. They will see a person who has done the hard work of internal liberation, and that is a quality that commands respect. The freedom of detachment is the ultimate form of self-empowerment. It is the realization that your true power lies not in what you possess, but in what you are willing to release. Once you master this art, you will become a person who is not defined by external circumstances, but who is instead a master of their internal world. And in that moment, people will never see you the same way again. They will see a person who is truly free, and that is an inspiring and unforgettable sight. We live in an age of constant communication, yet we have lost the art of true presence. We are physically in one place, but our minds are scattered, our attention divided. We are looking at our phones while talking to people, thinking about the future while experiencing the present, and in doing so, we are never truly here. This final keynote is an argument for the single most transformative quality a person can cultivate: presence. It is the silent, unspoken language that communicates more about who we are than any words we could ever say. It is the art of being fully and completely in the moment, and it is the one thing that will forever change how people see you. Presence is not about being the center of attention, it is about being fully attentive. When you are truly present, you are not just hearing what someone is saying, you are listening. You are not just looking at them, you are seeing them. You are giving them the rare and precious gift of your full and undivided attention. This is an incredibly powerful act. In a world where everyone is vying for attention, the person who gives it freely and completely becomes a magnet. People feel this, they feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel respected, and in turn they will respect you. The unspoken language of presence is one of deep respect for yourself, for the other person, and for the moment itself. When you are fully present, you are telling the world that this moment matters, and that you matter, and that they matter. This creates a powerful connection that transcends the superficial. To cultivate presence, we must first learn to quiet the constant chatter of our minds. We must learn to anchor ourselves in the present moment through our breath, through our senses, through our intention. This is not a passive state, it is an active practice of focus and awareness. When you walk into a room, you are not just a body taking up space, you are a presence and energy. What kind of energy are you radiating? Are you radiating a distracted, scattered energy, or are you radiating a calm, centered, and aware energy? The choice is yours. The person who is truly present is a person who is fully alive. They are not waiting for the next thing. They are fully engaged with the thing that is happening right now. This makes them captivating, interesting, and deeply respected. People are drawn to their energy because it is so rare and so powerful. The unspoken language of presence is the language of authenticity, of sincerity, and of genuine connection. When you learn to speak this language, when you learn to be fully and completely present in every moment, you will become an unforgettable force. You will be seen as a person of substance, a person with a deep inner life, and a person who is worthy of respect not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And in that moment, people will never see you the same way again. They will see you for who you truly are, a master of your own presence, and therefore a master of your own life.